I'm having another beautiful day at work. One of my favorites, actually. You know, motorcycle tests are great. They're fun, but it's starting to get a bit repetitive because all the bikes are pretty similar. So I'm becoming more interested in experiences. That's why I decided to share some of my own experiences by making vlogs. But this isn't a vlog. It's just a short Supermoto tutorial. Here's the thing. I've always ridden Supermoto well, always. I don't know, 10 years, maybe more, I'm not sure. I always wanted to ride Supermoto, and I did, because I think it's a brilliant way to train for track riding. Lower costs, if you fall, less happens. And I always told everyone one by one, come ride Supermoto with me. Come ride Supermoto with me. And everyone would say, no, no, no. All right, we'll stick to the big bikes. Okay, maybe someday, something. 2 years went by. I kind of stopped riding Supermoto, and guess what happened? The cream of the crop of Polish motorcycling, or at least a part of it, because there are still a lot of people in Poland who race and ride Supermoto. As you can see, there was a bit of a click, so I'll walk around the bikes a bit and show you that you can really ride anything. This is my wife's motorcycle, and this is the answer to the question, how do you do it that your wife wants to or lets you ride motorcycles like that? Well, it's simple as that. My wife rides motorcycles with me, and she knows perfectly well how good riding a motorcycle is for a person. So this is my wife's motorcycle. The CRF is already a bit refined because it's been with us for what, the 3rd year now? This year will be the 4th year. So now it has an Akrapovic. Because I broke my wife's Akrap, I mean the original exhaust. It has Riger suspension, X-Trick triple clamps, really, really nice, but without the option for adjustment. However, there is the option to adjust the handlebars. Lower handlebars, Brembo master cylinder and Brembo caliper, which isn't the best in the world, but it turns out that the Brembo master cylinder with the Motomaster works really well. A small 300mm disc, and that's pretty much it. Stock engine. There's nothing that needs to be improved here. Slipper clutch as well. My motorcycle, a bit neglected because I've ridden it for a long time, and every time I ride it, I end up going BAM with it. Krzemian also went BAM with it, somehow. That's just how it is. This is a kind of bike that often goes BAM. The set I bought, Supermoto, about 6 years ago for the 2018 model year. It still fits, so it ended up with me selling the old Yamaha on the cross version. A new one came, I put the triple clamps with the changed offset back on. Also without any special adjustment options, only the handlebar can be repositioned. What's fancy are the 2 front brake discs, which honestly don't make any special difference when it comes to amateur riding. The upside is that the brake pads wear out very slowly. The brake pads are still the stock ones. And what I really like is that I can take off the wheel, rotate it when the tire wears out, put it back on, and I don't have to flip the tire. Suture clutch, stock exhaust, stock swing arm, stock suspension just with a different setup. The front is a bit lower, but as you can see, everything is stock. And honestly, that's more than enough for me. However, I have to say that I think there will be some modifications coming to this motorcycle soon. Handguards are important because last year, 2 years ago, I rode without handguards. Sure, it looked nicer, but this lever costs 150 euros. Now they're handguards, so the lever doesn't get damaged. Supermoto review continued, and this is a beautiful machine. Here you go.
This is Grandma.
This is Grandma. Your leg's intact, you didn't get ripped off.
Both hands are intact too, nothing got ripped up.
That's exactly the point. Because here we have electric starters, and here take a look. A beautiful classic unisex one, because women can kickstart too. Do you even know what year this CRF is?
I have no idea, and what's worse, Kosa has no idea either.
Exactly. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this since I have the microphone, but now we know that nobody knows what year this CRF is. Someone should check that. But does it even matter? It doesn't matter. The motorcycle works, you ride it, you're not supposed to at all, and the suspension is stock as well. How much did this motorcycle cost? 16? That's certainly not cheap, really truly not cheap at all.
Well, you know.
But it's all good.
I'm a good mechanic.
Done by a good mechanic. But listen, for 16,000, look, here's a Behringer brake lever. That's an insanely good brake, a Behringer master cylinder. So look, if you have a bike that's been worked on by a good mechanic, you can buy it used. I've never been a fan, but if the engine was done by someone you trust, then you can easily ride a used Supermoto. Because look, these frames are almost identical really. Service the suspension, service the engine, and you can ride this motorcycle to your heart's content. Husk Bartomie Lewandowski. Well, here the dock is refined, 4 adjustable shelves, offset, the head tube angle can be changed, Erlin's inserts. This is an FS 450, i.e. It was a factory Supermoto Husqvarna, but it is clearly improved, but the rest is nothing extravagant. Golden and modest.
The stock.
Exactly, stock, pretty much stock. Stock exhaust, the slipper clutch is probably also stock, brake, master cylinder also stock. Caliper is stock too. And what else? No need to change anything because the suspension has been upgraded. Probably Erlins in the back too, or not? Not in the back? Ah, you see, so it's stock in the back. But that's the point. I also understand why riders often put Erlins on their bikes. It's about having. Erlins has its own feel. Every manufacturer has their own.
I believe in that air suspension, which is stock, and that's why I put in carbon.
Ah, right. I don't know because I have the microphone, but I'll translate it. Bartek says he didn't believe in air suspension, and he was absolutely right. I had air suspension in my CRF, and when you ride, the pressure changes because it heats up. So the pressure changes, and you have a different feel at the beginning of the session than at the end. In motocross, it might not be a problem, but on asphalt, when you need a bit of precision, it's not so great. So it's just so-so. Kosa's bikes are awesome, but this one's a beast. Kosa didn't even know if his bike was a Suzuki or Honda when I asked him about it, but through deduction, we figured out it's a Suzuki, so it's a similar vibe to the Honda over there. A motorcycle doesn't have to be new, it just needs to be well maintained and good. And look, the Behringer is all nice and tidy. The suspension, it's got an Erlin sticker. Hey, but this is an air suspension. Do you have air suspension? No?
It has wheels.
Isn't this an air suspension? All right. Kosa says it's not because it says Erlins here, so if there's a sticker, you don't need to pump any air. Kosa says this one is the best of them all.
And now, attention,
No? But this one might be a little better.
the blue one.
We'll get to the blue ones in a moment. Oh, this is my favorite of Roebuck's Supermotos. Look how his ears have drooped. Roebuck is a fan of, what's it called? There's some English term for it.
Everything's drooping, even his handlebars droop.
Yeah, the point is that Roebuck has his handlebars flipped upside down so they're low to make the feel as sporty as possible, like a real motorcycle. And Roebuck has the most gadgets on his handlebars out of everyone. Look, Berenguese, nice, I respect that. A shift light, which you can't see anyway, and which doesn't really matter in Supermoto because you don't rev these bikes to the limiter anyway, they have so much torque. Fancy? Well, that actually looks nice, I have to admit, that's nice, but it goes somewhere. Is that connected to the ECU?
Do the battery.
Ah, to the battery, so you don't have to charge it. Gear indicator, how often?
It's connected to the battery.
Battery? How often do you look at the gear indicator?
On the video,
Roebuck checks on the GoPro footage which gear he was in at that moment. Stock traction control, but turned off. The map is probably just whatever. Honestly, those maps don't make any difference on this asphalt. You just ride with whatever map you have on. Here, it's kind of like carbon, Is it a carbon tank?
a simple cover.
A carbon cover? You should definitely know that Roebuck, who lives quite far away, possesses a reliable internet connection, allowing him to discover and access a vast array of truly cool and interesting stuff online. But then I ask him which one is actually cool, because this thing is cool, and that one is cool, and these things here are cool too, just in general. Roebuck, watch out! Today, Roebuck was the fastest.
Robot.
Until I got on the motorcycle I'm heading to. I keep going, and here again, and now, not to brag. What now, Andrzej? Let Andrzej record it, let Andrzej record it, let him do this job. Anyway, Yamahas like mine are probably the most stock ones we've had. Masia Joclea definitely crashed for that very reason. If there had been more money thrown at it, he wouldn't have crashed. That's not true at all, it just happened, bam, that's it. But as you can see, this is a caliper from a Panigale with an adapter. You can buy these calipers relatively cheaply. Well, the master cylinder is actually a nice Brembo, good thing it survived. Oh, Jesus, that's such a relief. Just the wheels, anti-cupping, stock exhaust, new Yamaha, see even the triple clamps are stock, and you can still ride it. I rode with stock triple clamps for a long time. Here's Guatki's bike, kind of a semi-setup. Guatki races in the Polish C4 class championship, which means only on asphalt. We all ride only on asphalt, so our bikes are set up just for riding on asphalt as well. Wheels, there's an exhaust, a nice Akrapovic. Something got a bit burnt here, but that aircraft is still great. There are some guards to protect the bike from damage, but what's important is the all insolence cartridges and a custom coating plus the setting. So this suspension has actually been modified by Powerforce suspension, and in the end, it's almost like a complete all-in setup. So you have the coating, the inserts, everything works fine. Power shelves are also fully adjustable. Foot pegs like the ones I have, with such plastic ones, are important on many tracks so as not to simply destroy the asphalt. But now we come to the most important thing. I'm about to get ready for the track too. Monica, you go. I'll come. And here it is. There is simply no better place. This is Yamaha with Ducati. Oh, with Ducati. Yamaha Torum. Sorry, so many years of habits. This is the same dealer, same owner as Ducati Torun from the racing team. Derek also supports motocross and supermoto riders. And to know what's what, because he himself rides motorcycles a lot. He built a motorcycle the best he could, meaning a GYTR engine head. I thought it wasn't necessary, because I thought it only gives power at the top, but it's so smooth, it delivers that power so well. I rode that motorcycle. I was riding my own 42.890 and I got on this one, did a 42.3 and got off because it was just too much fun. Quick shifter, I thought a quick shifter in Supermoto was pointless, but it actually makes sense. It's just awesome how it's been tuned. The rear swing arm is wider, stiffer and short. Classic Supermoto. Thanks to that, you can also fit a 5.5-inch rim in the back, because most of us have 5-inch wide rims. Here, the swing arm easily fits a 5.5-inch rim without the slightest problem. It's shorter and stiffer. Oh, Jesus, the way this bike takes corners. Oh, Jesus. And then there's the quick shifter, which does nothing. Derek, who doesn't put quick shifters on race bikes, checked it and said it does nothing. You know, it's like a counterweight. There's a little ball or something inside that moves around and supposedly compensates for rear wheel hubs, but it's pointless. The all-in suspension is the new flow model, and interestingly, it's running without any custom setting. It's just been clicked into place using a standard motocross setup, and it works like a charm. The front suspension is the same, but here you have the full Erlins forks. You can see gold, 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 gold. The lower fork legs are from Cobra, meaning only the lower parts of the forks have been changed so that this radial caliper, which is pretty much the best you can get, could be installed here. Brembo. The disc is also a 300 millimeters, because here we have a 16-inch wheel. Most of us use 16 or 16.5. Today we tested a 17. Daniel Blin will be riding with a 17-inch wheel, so he can practice on the same tires he races on. But I'll tell you, you can really feel that 1/2 inch, especially since the smaller the wheel, the more tire you have, because the overall diameter probably doesn't change. And you can really feel how nicely bikes with smaller wheels grip. I really like the 16-inch. Monica has a 16-inch on a CRF. I have 16.5, and I'm a bit jealous of a 16, that's all. Here, the fancy brake master cylinder is very stiff. It's not exactly my style, but I get the idea, because there's a theory which I can agree with, that it's better to modulate braking force with pressure, not just with the lever's range of motion. And that's it. Overall, I want one like that. I just want one like that for time attacks. Oh, I want one like that for time attacks. I've fallen in love with this motorcycle. I would just change it a bit. I'd lower the front even more. Derek is taller than me, so he knows what I mean. I'd put on a slightly softer pump because the lever was just too far for me. But other than that, all right, the guys are going, so I'm going too. The guy to Supermoto, take care.